Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone and welcome. Let's start this video off right by just saying and putting it out there right in the beginning, Ghost of Tsushima was an excellent game. I loved it. I did a review of it. You can find the link for that review up here. It should be appearing somewhere. If you don't see it up there, go check out my After Action review playlist. The game that we're talking about today is not Ghost of Tsushima, but it is following in the footsteps of Ghost of Tsushima's success as an action RPG with a Japanese setting. I'm Mike, and this is Mike's After Action Reviews, and this is the Rapid Action Review for Rise of the Rōnin. The Action Pack needs you. You can support Mike's After Action Reviews on our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every quarter, once we've made at least $200, we're going to be giving away 10% of our earnings from Patreon in a giveaway over on our Twitch, so go check that out as well. You can find all of the links for everything in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Do your part. Support the pack. The Action Pack. So guys, as always, I have my notes. This is a rapid action review, so we're going to be skipping through some of the sections, but I am going to start with the game's production. Rise of the Rōnin was initially released on March 22nd, 2024. It was developed by Team Ninja and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The music was by Inan Zur. After 3 centuries of shogunate rule, the black ships of the West descend upon Japan's borders and the country falls into a state of turmoil. As a masterless samurai, a Rōnin, take up your blade and shape the course of history in this open-world action RPG for PlayStation 5. According to HowLongToBeat.com, the main story of Rise of the Rōnin on average is 23 hours and 43 minutes, and completionists will finish the game on average in 75 hours and 25 minutes. So that's the game's story and setting. Obviously, something that I didn't mention here is that this is a Souls-like, kind of inspired, or at least referencing Ghost of Tsushima. The aesthetic is something that attracted people because of Ghost of Tsushima's success. So let's get into our final statement and review score. We're going to start with the sustains and the improves. So starting off with the game's sustains. I really like, my first sustain is that I really like the Japanese setting and aesthetic. The culture of Japan, especially at the time of the game, you know, an emphasis on swordsmanship, on honor, some of these really cool ideas, and Japan is just really cool. I think that especially in Western culture, we just really love Japan. It's really cool, and so that was really great, and I did love that. So my second sustain is there's an emphasis on blocking and parrying, okay? So they have a mechanic in which you can block, okay, which is normal for Souls-like games, but they have a mechanic here where you'll see a red indicator, okay, indicating that you can, you know, perfect parry an enemy, and then if timed correctly, you will parry and it'll actually increase your stamina. So there's a stamina bar, which is in all Souls-like games, and usually in Souls-like games, boss fights tend to be a combination of like hit, dodge, 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 hit, and it just looks like your character is rolling around all the time. I know that it works, I know that it makes sense for how the game mechanic works, but here I think that it's great because with an emphasis on blocking in this parry system, and I want to say this, another thing that makes it emphasize this parry system is the fact that The bosses that you'll encounter will start as you progress through the game. They get like they're on you. Like you cannot dodge enough because you will run out of stamina unless you are really pumping stats into increasing your stamina through the progression tree or reducing the stamina cost of dodging through your equipment and things like that. Like bosses really are right on you, so it actually makes sense for you and might actually be, depending on your play style and how good you are at the game, it might actually make sense for you to block and parry rather than dodge. Okay, so what they've basically done here is created a game in which instead of you kind of looking a little bit foolish by rolling around all the time, you are actually able to stand toe to toe and block and parry your enemies, and it looks like an actual sword fight. So I thought that was really cool. And then the third sustain is the traversal. So you have a grappling hook and you have a glider. This is something different than I've seen in other Souls-like games. You actually have the ability to, which much like Ghost of Tsushima did. Okay, Ghost of Tsushima did not have a glider, but you had the grappling hook. Here you get a glider, and that's pretty cool and was heavily emphasized in the promotional material, so that's really cool. All right, so now moving on to the game's improves. So the story writing. Okay, so this is a Souls-like game. Souls-like games tend to have poor story. They have lots of world building, lots of lore, there's a cool idea, but it's not really presented to players in the games are never narratively driven. This game has a narrative and it kind of has this feeling of like trying to be a Souls-like game that is narratively driven. I think if you want to see a game that does this really well, like a Souls-like game that's narratively driven, go check out the Jedi games, Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. So, through the story writing and dialogue, there's just not that real connection to characters and the world that you're going to feel in games like I said, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, and also Ghost of Tsushima, which a lot of people are going to be comparing this to Ghost of Tsushima. I'm only bringing it up because of that. This is not a Ghost of Tsushima game. This is not like that. So anyway, the writing, as far as the story and dialogue, just didn't really pull you into your character and what's going on in the world so much. This is really designed around combat and the open world mechanics, and yeah, basically it's Souls-like people are really going to like this game. Okay, and then another thing is, so my second improve. So while the game is designed around this parry mechanic, the parry knockback that you get, the little like pause in your enemy's attacks and movements, is not the greatest. I think that it would be fair to increase it. Okay, I'm not talking about making the game easier necessarily. I'm not talking about lowering the damage of enemies or making it, giving you the ability to stun them or do something like that to make combat necessarily easier. It just would make sense to me that I'm getting a trade-off of, instead of dodging all the time, which can be hard because of stamina restrictions, I have this perfect parry that I just did, and then before I can even get one swing in, the enemy, the boss moves. Why don't we create a system where basically perfect parry block, perfect parry, maybe a dodge in there somewhere, but then perfect parry and hitting a boss, 1 or 2 hits, the boss fights. I mean, it would make it easier, but you still have to be good at parrying, okay, which is not always the easiest thing to do, timing it properly. So you still have to be good at that, and then that would even emphasize that system that they put in the game even more. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And then also my third improve. This one was stretching it a little bit, and I'll explain why. But basically, you'll get a lot of useless gear in this game. I understand that there is crafting. Okay, I'm not a huge Souls-like guy, so I haven't played a huge number of these games or many hours into these games, but you get a lot of useless gear, and I don't remember getting so much useless gear in Elden Ring. Like, there was times when I was getting gear that was literally at the beginning of the game was lower level than the gear that I started with, or like I'd get one piece of gear and then like 5 or 6, maybe even 10 pieces of gear that are all lower than the first piece of gear I got from the game. So I was like, what the heck is this? Now, you do get the trade-off of, well, it's for crafting. You can break those pieces of gear down. You can break those items down. I don't know. It's just... So I get that it's a trade-off. That's why I said it's kind of a stretch. It would be nice to have gear that's a little bit better sometimes and makes you go, oh, maybe I do want to switch to this. And then use this other one, break this other one down for crafting. But anyway, that's why I said it's a little bit of a stretch. But yes, there's a lot of useless gear you're going to have to sift through. But at the same time, the other trade-off is that you can break it down for crafting, or you can sell it for money. Basically, okay, so then moving into my final statement, I'm going to say, look guys, I'm going to give this one an average, okay? I am not a Souls-like guy, okay? But I got the game. I didn't follow anything. I really have been quite successful so far on YouTube as far as not getting any information about games that I know I'm going to play. So I didn't really know whether it was exactly a Souls-like or what exactly it was going to be. Going into it, as soon as I saw that it was a Souls-like, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. But I try to be objective here. I say that the game, it's an average, but it's like a good average. It's not great. It's not terrible. The biggest thing is even from, like, I played Elden Ring, and I would say that the combat mechanics and some of the other things that they've got going on as far as progression and some of the other stuff were better in Elden Ring. This one just didn't really pop out for me. And then there was some issues as far as I said, like, I would really like it to go just a little bit farther in making it so that way your character feels more like an expert swordsman by giving you the ability to parry and block in a little bit more of an effective way. But that's all we've got, guys. Check out the game. Like I said, average. So just to clarify here, not bad. Average is a good score. Average is a good score. It's just not great. So there you go. That's all I've got, guys. Go check out the game. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like the video, share, all of that great stuff. I want to say thank you all for watching. God bless you, and have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord, where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after-action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.